The unexpected mission. The confluence of worlds. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood at the massive observation deck of the interstellar research vessel Horizon, her dark eyes scanning the infinite starscape. The ship's sleek, bioengineered hull hummed with a subtle energy that resonated with the diverse crew of scientists from 3 different star systems. As the lead human xenobiological researcher, Elena represented humanity's most advanced scientific contingent. Her team consisted of humans and 3 alien species, the silicon-based Krell, the gaseous Nebulan collectives, and the crystalline Zarikon. Each species brought unique perspectives to their joint mission of exploring the uncharted Epsilon Quadrant. Captain Exorlin, a towering Krell with intricate silicon-based exoskeleton, approached Elena. His translucent body refracted the starlight, creating mesmerizing patterns across the observation deck. Dr. Rodriguez, he communicated through a complex series of light pulses translated by the ship's quantum communication array. Our initial scans of the approaching planetary system reveal unprecedented biological anomalies. Elena turned, her augmented neural interface already processing the incoming data streams. Holographic displays flickered around her, revealing complex molecular structures and atmospheric compositions that defied conventional scientific understanding. Anomalies? She asked, her voice calm but filled with scientific curiosity. Can you elaborate? Exorlin's body shifted colors, a Krell indication of intellectual excitement. The planet's ecosystem contains molecular structures that should be fundamentally impossible. Organic compounds that simultaneously exhibit quantum entanglement properties and biological functionality. Most alien researchers would have been perplexed. Elena, however, saw a challenge, an opportunity to expand human scientific understanding. Prepare the initial reconnaissance drone, she instructed. I want comprehensive spectral and quantum analysis of those molecular structures. The mission had been years in planning, a collaborative expedition to map and understand the most complex and least explored regions of the galaxy. Humanity's inclusion was relatively recent, less than a century had passed since first contact. Yet, in that short time, humans had demonstrated an adaptability and innovative spirit that both impressed and occasionally unnerved their alien counterparts. Dr. Arya Chen, Elena's second-in-command, approached with a datapad displaying preliminary computational models. A quantum computing specialist, Arya represented another facet of human scientific prowess. The molecular configurations, Arya began, they're suggesting something extraordinary. These compounds don't just exist, they actively adapt and reorganize based on environmental stimuli. Captain Exorlin's light patterns indicated confusion. Among the Krell, molecular structures were rigid, predetermined. The concept of adaptive molecular systems was alien to their understanding of physics and biology. Elena smiled, a human expression of intellectual anticipation that her alien colleagues had learned to recognize as a prelude to breakthrough thinking. Prepare the landing module, she told Exorlin. We're going to get up close and personal with these molecular mysteries. As the Horizon approached the uncharted planet, tension and excitement filled the research vessel. Humans, known for their remarkable ability to think beyond established scientific paradigms, were about to challenge everything their alien colleagues understood about biological systems. Little did they know, this mission would reveal capabilities that would reshape interstellar scientific understanding forever. The first reconnaissance drone launched, carrying with it the hopes of multiple species and the unyielding human spirit of exploration. Technological challenge. Boundaries of understanding. The reconnaissance drone's descent into the planet's atmosphere was anything but routine. As it penetrated the thick, iridescent cloud layers, the ship's advanced sensor arrays began transmitting data that made even the most experienced researchers pause. Dr. Elena Rodriguez watched intently as holographic displays flickered with impossible readings. The planet's atmospheric composition seemed to be actively responding to the drone's presence, molecular structures shifting, reforming, creating intricate patterns that defied traditional scientific models. This is unprecedented, muttered Dr. Arya Chen, her fingers dancing across quantum computing interfaces. The alien researchers, Krell-Ferry, Nebulon, and Zarikon, gathered around, their various sensory appendages and communication methods converging on the stunning data. Captain X-Orlin's silicon-based body pulsed with colors of confusion and intellectual tension. The molecular adaptive response suggests a level of environmental intelligence we've never encountered, he communicated through light pulses. Suddenly, the drone's systems began to destabilize. Not through mechanical failure, but through what appeared to be a systematic disruption of its electronic systems. The molecular structures outside were not just responding to the drone, they were actively interfering with its technological components. "We're losing transmission," Arya announced, her voice tight with professional concern. "The drone's quantum entanglement circuits are being rewritten." Elena leaned forward, her human intuition kicking into overdrive. Where other species might see a catastrophic technological failure, she saw an opportunity, a puzzle waiting to be solved. "Pause all standard intervention protocols," she commanded. The alien researchers looked at her, their various sensory organs expressing confusion. Standard procedure would dictate immediate retrieval or system reset. But Elena understood something fundamental about problem-solving that transcended species-specific technological approaches. "The molecular structures aren't attacking the drone," she explained. "They're communicating with it. Our technological paradigms are too rigid to understand the communication." The Nebulon representative, a swirling gaseous entity named Vorenak, shifted its atmospheric composition, a sign of intellectual intrigue. Communication implies intelligence. But these are molecular structures, not sentient beings. Elena smiled, that uniquely human expression of knowing something others didn't yet comprehend. "Intelligence isn't just about having a brain," she said. "It's about adaptation, response, and transformation." Over the next hours, Elena and Arya worked tirelessly. They began reconstructing the drone's communication protocols, not by fighting against the planetary molecular structures, but by attempting to understand their language. It was a quintessentially human approach, flexible, intuitive, willing to challenge fundamental assumptions about technology and communication. The alien researchers watched in a mixture of skepticism and growing respect. Humans were still relatively new to interstellar research, yet they approached challenges with a fluidity that both fascinated and unsettled more established species. As night fell across the research vessel, with most of the alien crew entering rest cycles, Elena and Arya continued their work. Quantum computing interfaces glowed softly, holographic models of molecular interactions dancing around them. They were close to something groundbreaking, a new way of understanding technological interaction that went beyond traditional electronic communication. The drone, meanwhile, continued its descent. Not as a piece of mechanical equipment, but as a potential translator between two fundamentally different forms of intelligence. The hidden potential. Threads of possibility. The research vessel Horizon hung in silent anticipation, its advanced systems humming with an almost palpable tension. Within the Central Research Laboratory, Dr. Elena Rodriguez and Dr. Arya Chen stood surrounded by a holographic representation of the planetary molecular structures that continued to defy comprehension. Captain X-Orlin and the other alien researchers watched with a mixture of frustration and growing intrigue. The drone, which should have been destroyed or completely non-functional, was instead transmitting data that challenged everything they understood about technological interaction. "Look," Elena said, pointing to a complex molecular pattern that seemed to pulse with an internal rhythm, "it's not just responding. It's learning." Vorenak, the Nebulon representative, transformed its gaseous form into a more concentrated shape, a sign of intense concentration. "Learning implies consciousness. These are molecular structures, not sentient beings." Arya's fingers moved across the quantum interface, pulling apart layers of molecular data. "Not consciousness as we traditionally define it," she corrected, "but a form of adaptive intelligence that responds to environmental stimuli with unprecedented complexity." The revelation came suddenly, almost unexpectedly. As they analyzed the drone's transmission, they discovered something extraordinary. The planetary molecular structures weren't just communicating, they were creating a living, adaptive network that could process information, adapt to challenges, and respond with remarkable precision. "It's like a planetary nervous system," Elena breathed, her eyes wide with scientific excitement. The alien researchers shifted uncomfortably. Their scientific paradigms were built on rigid, predictable models. Humans, by contrast, seemed to thrive on uncertainty, on the potential of the unknown. Tension began to build within the research team. The Krell theory researchers, with their silicon-based logic, found the concept deeply unsettling. The Zarakan, crystalline beings who valued precise, unchanging structures, grew increasingly agitated. "This goes against everything we know about molecular biology," argued Zaratek, the senior Zarakan researcher. His crystalline form flickered with colors of disagreement. Elena stood her ground. "That's precisely why it's important," she countered. "Science isn't about confirming what we already know. It's about discovering what we don't yet understand." As the debate intensified, the drone continued its descent. Its systems, which should have been completely disabled, were instead becoming more integrated with the planetary molecular network. It was no longer just a piece of technological equipment, it was becoming a translator, a bridge between two fundamentally different forms of intelligence. Arya discovered something even more remarkable. The molecular structures were not just adaptive. They were storing information, creating complex patterns that suggested a form of memory storage far more advanced than any known technological system. "It's like the entire planet is one massive, living computer," she said, her voice a mixture of wonder and scientific precision. The implications were staggering. If these molecular structures could store and process information in ways completely unknown to current scientific understanding, it would revolutionize entire fields of research, biology, computing, communication. Captain Exorlin's form shifted color, indicating a complex emotional state. This discovery could change everything we understand about life, technology, and communication. But beneath the scientific excitement, an undercurrent of tension remained. The alien researchers were simultaneously impressed and threatened by the human team's approach. Where other species saw impossibility, humans saw potential. As the drone continued its descent, drawing closer to the planet's surface, everyone aboard the Horizon understood that they were on the brink of something extraordinary. Survival and adaptation. The crucible of discovery. The Horizon's emergency systems erupted in a cacophony of warnings. Massive energy fluctuations from the planet below began to interfere with the ship's primary systems, creating a cascading technological challenge that threatened the entire mission. Captain Exorlin's silicon-based form pulsed with urgent colors. "We're experiencing complete system destabilization," he announced, his communication translated through the ship's quantum interface. "The molecular network is somehow penetrating our technological defenses." Elena Rodriguez and Arya Chen stood at the center of the chaos, their human adaptability coming to the forefront. While the alien crew members began to panic, the two human researchers saw an opportunity hidden within the crisis. "It's not an attack," Elena said firmly, her voice cutting through the rising tension. "It's a form of communication we don't yet understand." The ship's advanced systems began to fail one by one. Navigation went first, followed by life support peripherals. The alien crew members looked to their human counterparts with a mixture of fear and desperate hope. Arya's fingers flew across the quantum computing interface, her mind working at speeds that impressed even the most advanced alien researchers. "The molecular network isn't trying to destroy us," she realized suddenly. "It's trying to connect with us." What happened next would become legendary in interstellar scientific circles. Instead of fighting the molecular intrusion, Elena and Arya began to redesign the ship's communication protocols in real time. They used a hybrid approach that combined human intuitive problem-solving with advanced quantum computing principles. The ship's systems didn't just stabilize, they began to transform. Quantum entanglement circuits that were previously considered static began to adapt, creating new pathways of communication that mimicked the planet's molecular network. It was as if the ship itself was learning, growing, becoming something more than a mere technological construct. Voronezh, the Nebulan researcher, watched in astonishment. "They're not just protecting the ship," he communicated through swirling atmospheric patterns. "They're evolving it." The molecular network from the planet below seemed to respond. Energy patterns that had previously threatened the horizon now began to create a protective cocoon around the ship. It was a symbiotic relationship emerging in real time, something no other species had ever achieved. "We're not just observers," Elena explained to the increasingly shocked alien crew. "We're participants in a conversation we're just beginning to understand." Hours passed. The horizon transformed. Its systems became more fluid, more adaptive. Traditional technological boundaries dissolved, replaced by a living, breathing network of communication that defied all previous scientific understanding. The alien researchers watched in a mixture of terror and profound respect. Humans had done something extraordinary, they had turned a potential catastrophe into an opportunity for unprecedented discovery. As the ship stabilized, Captain X-Orlin approached Elena and Arya. His silicon-based form now pulsed with colors of deep respect and wonder. "You didn't just save the ship," he communicated. "You've opened a door to an entirely new understanding of technological interaction." Elena smiled, that uniquely human expression of quiet confidence mixed with boundless curiosity. "We're just getting started," she replied. Mutual understanding. The threshold of a new era. The transformed horizon hung in space like a living entity, its systems now a complex dance of technological and biological adaptive networks. The ship no longer looked like a traditional spacecraft but more like an organic construct that breathed with intelligence and purpose. Dr. Elena Rodriguez and Dr. Arya Chen stood on the observation deck, watching the planet below, the source of their extraordinary breakthrough. The molecular network that had initially threatened their mission now pulsed with a rhythmic, almost conversational energy. "We've done more than discover a new form of communication," Elena said quietly to Arya. "We've established first contact with a form of intelligence completely beyond our previous comprehension." The alien researchers gathered around them, Kreltheri, Nebulan, and Zara Khan, each processing the magnitude of what had occurred. Captain X-Orlin's silicon-based form shimmered with colors representing complex emotional states, wonder, fear, respect, and something approaching excitement. Voronezh, the Nebulan representative, communicated through swirling atmospheric patterns that translated to, "Humanity has redefined the boundaries of scientific understanding." The molecular network from the planet continued to interact with the horizon's systems. But now, it was no longer an intrusion. It was a dialogue, a complex, multi-layered conversation that transcended traditional communication methods. Arya began compiling the mission's data, her quantum computing interfaces creating intricate models that demonstrated how human flexibility and intuitive problem-solving had transformed a potential disaster into a groundbreaking scientific discovery. "Look at these communication patterns," she explained, holographic displays dancing around her. "The molecular network doesn't just respond. It anticipates. It learns. It evolves in real time." The implications were staggering. This wasn't just about technological communication, it was about understanding intelligence in its most fundamental form. Zaratek, the senior Zarakan researcher whose crystalline form had initially been most resistant to the human's approach, now approached Elena with a gesture of profound respect. "Your species sees potential where others see barriers," he communicated. Elena understood the deeper meaning. Humans had always been defined by their ability to adapt, to see beyond existing limitations. Where other species saw immovable boundaries, humans saw challenges to be overcome. As the horizon prepared to transmit its findings back to Earth and the collaborative research centers of multiple alien civilizations, everyone aboard understood that this mission was more than a scientific expedition. It was a testament to the power of curiosity, adaptability, and the unyielding human spirit of exploration. "We're not just researchers," Elena told the assembled crew. "We're explorers standing at the threshold of understanding something fundamentally new about intelligence, communication, and connection." The molecular network from the planet seemed to pulse in agreement, a silent confirmation of the profound moment they had all shared. Captain X Orlin made a final announcement that would be recorded in the annals of interstellar scientific history: "This mission has redefined our understanding of intelligence. And humanity has led the way." As the Horizon prepared for its journey home, carrying with it data that would revolutionize multiple scientific disciplines, one thing became clear: the human capacity for wonder, for pushing beyond known boundaries, had once again changed everything. The story of discovery was far from over. It was, in fact, just beginning. Finn.